Hey, Kazaroo.
Hey, Masaru.
Ugh, I'm a monkey. Hey,
Uh,
Magenta. Trauma. She's busy, but she's going to listen. Okay. We're not going to be here live long today. Ugh, gosh.
Put your teeth in, woman.
I think I need to see a therapist.
Okay. Do you want to confess something, my child?
Could you imagine me going into a therapist and just talking about everything that I see on a daily basis on the YouTube streets with the crimes, the murders, the suitcases, the this, people's heads on sticks?
No,
Hey,
no.
Budget Jones. Hey, Seashore Girl.
Hey, guys. Hello. How is everybody today? What is it? Wednesday for you guys, isn't it?
Well, it's Wednesday here.
Well, it's Thursday for me. Almost the weekend.
I'm telling you, Kaz, we were really under a bridge because, hey, Connie, I just want to talk about this little boy for a little bit, see what you guys' thoughts are.
Oh, yeah. This is really, really conflicting.
Conflicting. I am
Mm,
so confused that I am like, I mean, every time you watch a part, you're like, well, who do you believe? Do you believe the sheriff? Do you believe the mom's video, the this, the that? Between Heidi
mm,
Plank again, the girl in the suitcase, and this little boy, like, I can't keep up. I need to make YouTube my full time job, I think.
mm.
I could never do that, Kaz. You know that.
No, I know.
I've got too much energy to sit here all day. And Kaz will tell you I keep the social media off my phone. Hey, Leonard Love. Right, Kaz? There has to be a line. I don't have
Yes.
Twitter. I don't have Facebook. But I do have Discord. I think that's still kind of bad.
Oh, Budget Jones, it's Wednesday night there. Yeah, it is Wednesday
So
night in the UK.
what are your guys' thoughts that have heard about little Sean Daugherty?
Do they know about Sean? Is the question. Have you heard about Sean's case, guys? Because this is a really
It's
sad, disturbing.
I can't make sense of it. I have no feeling on this case, except for I do not think. I don't know. It's like, look at his little face.
Um,
I'm gonna pull up his picture. What do you guys feel about this little child?
well, my opinion is when I started reading this story, and you got me to read the whole thing, and I got to the part of how he was restrained. There is, I don't know what the coroners and the police were thinking. I really don't. There is, I don't believe he hurt himself and um, did what he did to himself. There's no physical way a child could belt himself up as securely as what even the EMTs said he was. It was that tight. Can he then get a bag over his head, a noose around his chin, and hang himself on a swing set? No, sorry. Unless he knows how to levitate.
I mean, okay, so then Kat, like, I'm listening to it, and Kaz and I were going to Facebook. We were listening to the story of how Maria found him. You want to start with the story, Kaz, from Facebook, real quick, and then
Sure.
we'll play that the podcast, which is interesting, which I haven't heard the whole thing yet, so I'm not sure if it's all the way interesting. But then you listen to the mom's video, and then when you see the sheriff's video, you're like, what is going on? Like, what am I
Oh,
missing? Yeah, like the whole wearing his stepfather's clothes and about the underwear being left in the parents' room and the mom saying he never did that.
Mm.
The blood to the guy walking on the street. Like, it's just weird.
Well, that's an
That guy
understatement.
running for sheriff again?
I mean, oh, it's hard to wrap your head around it. It really is.
Well, we're glad
Let
you're
me just
still
go
here.
down to the first one. Uh, part
I mean,
three.
he's cute as anything with his little bow tie
Oh,
and his
isn't he?
little shirt. But even like to the peach in the bowl, to the shoes being upside down, to collecting the garbage. Hey, sugar. Like, just something is so weird. Hey, Nana. And the father was like an hour away with the oldest kid.
Yeah.
Hey, TJ Talks. Just getting a guy's perspective. Told my husband about this. Two things he said. Somebody knew the dynamics of that household and timing. It was done too quickly. Yeah, I mean, what is it? The mom went to the doctors. Maria came home from tennis practice after school. I mean, I just went through the story briefly with Kaz last night, but I'm retaining this information on this little boy, but I have no, like, I'm blank on it.
Yeah.
I have no feeling for some strange reason. This one's not jumping at me.
Sorry, guys. My computer's really slow this morning. It's not woken up yet.
Nana says reminds her of Kyron Harmon in a way. I
Oh,
mean, was he
really?
bullied? Did they talk about him being bullied at school?
No, because they
Like,
said, well, not that they. Oh, come on, computer. Sorry, Ma.
you're good. Seashore, what I get out of this is that the mother went to do it. The grandma went to do a test, and I think they called her that day. But that's just what I'm getting out of it. And she ran over to get like a lab EKG. Like, what was it she was getting done? We'll find out when you read
Yeah,
this
she was
article.
getting an EKG done on the heart, and it was only supposed to be a
30
25-minute,
minutes.
yeah, 25 to 30-minute appointment.
And she called, like, we'll go, yeah, Kaz will read. Kaz is looking for it. The
Oh,
Facebook link Kaz is in Discord.
yeah, I know. It's just.
Landscapers in the neighbor's yard. Yep. The little brother supposedly hiding underneath the clothes pile saying that um Sean was being punched. But didn't the little boy say punched by a friend? Hey, Fluffy Cookie.
Yes, initially he said friend, and then he said the man.
Wait, what do you mean, Connie? Different garbage bags. I just heard that he got the bathroom upstairs. He was making his way to the kitchen. The Crocs were found upside down. There was a peach in the bowl. He didn't set up the iPad for the brother.
Yeah, okay, sliding
It's
down.
just weird.
Just
But the
having
whole
this back
belt
attack.
thing and the bag over the head, like, how are you going to put your hands in a belt next to your body and then put a bag over your head?
Mm. I'll just share my screen.
Hey, Ree's Place. Go ahead, Kaz. I'll take this little boy out.
Sure.
So the father was supposed the stepfather. That's right. It's the stepfather. Now, are the two little ones, are they biological, the mother and the father, or were those two little ones the stepfather's kids?
That's a
I
good
know there's
question.
four kids. Two, him and Maria are from her first marriage, right?
Yeah,
Then there's two little ones.
yeah.
Different. Connie said that they said that there was different color bag ties in the garbage.
Oh, really?
And then Raybird says there were different bags at the door. She always bought Costco bags, and the bags were not ones they had at the house. The tie was a different color.
Oh, yes, I did hear that. Yes,
See how
yes.
she spells color? That makes me think that Raybird is definitely not from the US.
No,
Why
she's
do you have to
what?
put the extra you guys in there?
Because that is the correct English, Queen's English spelling.
Color?
Just you guys just cut out the U. Isn't that right, Raybird? We spell correctly. All right. Up on my screen is the first post that actually goes into it. on the right hand side of my screen.
I'm Canadian, Raybird. I was born in Toronto, in Scarborough. I just jumped the border to Maine.
Oh,
But I do. I hold the dual citizenship because my parents are American. Hey, seashells.
hey, seashells, how are you, sweetheart?
Okay, so let me mic down because this is the second time I'm gonna listen to this and maybe I'll get something different. But Kaz, I think we watched this stuff in the different order yesterday is why I'm so confused.
No. Oh, well, I read it in the same order.
No, I'm saying about the ending it with the sheriff and then
Oh,
going to
yes,
the
yes, yes, we did.
yeah, it was
Yes,
like
we did.
what in God's name? I'm good. I'm
See,
good,
Robert's
seashells.
from Toronto, Ma.
All right,
So,
let's listen to this story with Kaz's beautiful accent.
okay. All right, this is about family dynamics. Okay, so Thursday, April 14th, 2022 was a normal day in the Daugherty Reavers household. Sean Daugherty was the second oldest child in the blended household that consisted, see, my mouth's not working either, consisted of his mother, Ramona, his stepfather, Jared, his older sister, Maria, who was 16 and in the 10th grade, and his two younger half brothers, who were 5 and 2 at the time. Their 79-year-old grandmother, Vija, also lives with them, and I do apologise if I'm not pronouncing these correctly, as she has for the entirety of their military career. Ramona and Jared were both lieutenant colonels in the Air Force.
That's a big
Ramona,
job.
it is huge. Ramona and Vija were born and raised in Latvia. This proud, sorry guys,
Ugh, she's excited, guys. Hey,
I know.
sassafras.
This proud military family lived on Sandalwood Lane in Yorktown and were a tight-knit group who kept to themselves. They'd been there for a few years and were great neighbours, but hadn't made any forever friends on the block. COVID had made socialising difficult, but with the kids but the kids had friends and the family would occasionally wave and make small talk with neighbours. Saddlewood Lane is in the White Creek Farms Housing Association, an organisation known for its pristine lawns, low fences and immaculate upkeep. This idyllic neighbourhood gave the family a false sense of security, and they neglected to install a security system. Truth be told, they felt so safe in this house that even doors were seldom locked. They had just sold the house and were renting back for a few months from the new owners while preparing for a move to the Pentagon. They were all sad to end their time in the Tab District, but they were excited for the next chapter in DC. They were set to move in a few weeks. On this particular
And
morning,
remember, too, Virginia to Washington, depending on where they lived, is a hop, skip, and a jump. You
on
know,
this
Virginia,
particular
Maryland, D.C., it's like all caboggled right there together.
hey Sassafras, hi Alison. On this particular morning, the entire week in fact, spirits were high in the house. The week before was spring break. They had gone on Disney's cruise, lucky devils. Everyone had had the
Right?
best time, and they were all high on the experience. They had had such an awesome time that on Tuesday evening, for 12:22, Ramona took Sean to renew his passport at the, I'm going to have difficulty with this, Persquoan, you're going to laugh now, library because they had booked a second Disney trip for August to Alaska. Everyone, particularly Sean, was stoked for this trip. Sean was a straight A student. Things came naturally to him, and he was also a gifted musician.
One
He
sec,
had,
Kaz. One sec, Kaz.
yep.
You know I have to talk. Does anyone hear anything about this little boy being bullying, or was that never even brought out into the public? Hey, Allison. I don't think Sean did this to himself. Yeah, this is really, really bizarre.
Mm.
Somebody's lying though.
Yeah.
Somebody's not
Um,
saying something. But I mean, this little 12-year-old boy, he goes to Disney. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. It might be Pocwoson.
I'm not sure.
Pocwoson. I don't know, guys. But I think that's the county, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
where the sheriff comes from.
Correct. Yes.
Straight A student. The friends were gonna go play Fortnite online. There's something so bizarre about this.
Yeah. He had several friends, and when interviewed after his death, they all record him to be happy. This day in particular, teachers and students interviewed remember Sean laughing in class, being excited, and could not recall anything out of the norm. Ramona spoke to them all personally, and each echoed the same sentiment that Sean was not a troubled child and had exuded happiness that day. Well, that kind of tells you.
But it's just, I mean, the kid is happy. I mean, the garbage. So what is up? So the garbage ties and Raybird said that they got the bags from Costco, but the bags that were used had different color ties. What the bags that were taking out the garbage? Which ones had the different color ties? The ones in the
Hmm,
kitchen where he
yes,
was
I think so.
collecting the kitchen
Yeah,
garbage, and then
yeah.
Seashore says he didn't hear about being bullied, but someone talked about girls bullying him. One second. I think it was. They had blue ties and red ties on two other ones not part of the household. And then I think Alan said, someone said two girls were bullying him at school. Here we go. Yes, they said Sean was being bullied from some girls, but supposedly it had been resolved.
Mhm.
So not even boys, little girls were bullying him. Okay, Kaz, go ahead. This freaking weird.
It is. On April 14th, 2022, Sean got off the bus at around 3:02 p.m. and walked the distance of two houses to his front door. Deja, the grandmother, was home watching the youngest brother, but was in a rush. As soon as Sean entered the house, she told him to watch the toddler, who was asleep on the couch, and she exited. Ramona had just pulled up to the house to pick up Deja for a medical appointment, and we all now know it was for an EKG, and called out to Sean as he entered the house and said she would call him from the car. He was to watch his brother for an hour while she took Deja to the doctor. Sean happily agreed. He loved watching the toddler. He said he had homework to do and would complete his chores before gaming with his friends. He submitted his homework assignments online, one of which included him submitting a photo of himself holding up his homework at 3:09 p.m. There was nothing out of place. From the car, Ramona called him a second time. She had just talked to her husband, who said their 2-year-old had been napping for almost 2 hours and he needed to be woken up or he'd never sleep that night.
Wait one second,
Remo-
Kat. Sorry, I didn't hear this the first time. Wait, the husband?
yeah, the hubby called his wife
Okay.
Ramona and said,
What time did he call the wife? I didn't hear that part the first time.
"Oh, it doesn't give a time."
Okay.
It just said from the car, Ramona called Sean
Called.
again, as
Okay.
she'd just spoken to her husband, who had said that their 2-year-old had been napping for almost 2 hours now, and he needed to be woken up.
How would he
Otherwise,
know that?
well, he must have been asleep when he left to go.
Yeah, when did the husband leave? Suppose. Well, yeah, we gotta make it. Now we're gonna have to do a timeline. Okay, let me shut up. Let me get the tape up.
um, Ramona called Sean to revise the plan and asked him to wake his brother up, give him a snack, and maybe watch a movie with him downstairs. Sean laughed and said, "Mom, I'm pooping. I got it." And they had a chuckle.
Oh gosh, who could make that up?
Yeah. His bathroom was on the second floor. Ramona called a third and final time from the car at 3:27, and Sean answered right away. She said that she realised he had been excited to play his games and suggested that Sean bring his brother with him up to the second floor so that he wouldn't have to change his plans.
Mm-hmm.
Sean loved that idea and said that he would get his brother all set up on an iPad upstairs with him.
See,
Perfect.
that's the second time I've heard that, and it rubs me the wrong way the second time too. I mean, her with the chores and being the admirals in the Air Force. I don't know if that just
Lieutenant colonels. Yeah.
it just kind of sounds out of the realm to me that she would go ahead and have him rearrange his day and bring the little boy upstairs, not to mess
Well,
up the Fortnite. That's just my opinion, though. Just that just stands out to me weird right there. I'm not saying the mom did anything. I'm just saying for some
no.
reason that stands out to me.
Well, I get see what I take from that is she didn't want Sean to be disappointed not to be able because he's gonna have his brother in tow now, and he was supposed to get gaming time once he'd done his chores. Oh,
What
once
the?
he did. Oh, that's my mobile phone going off. Once he'd done his chores, he gets to play his game, which is he plays Fortnite, and so he wouldn't be disappointed. His mum said, "Well, grab your brother, let him play on the iPad, which will keep him occupied, so you can still play your game with your friends."
Yeah, I get that, and that all that makes sense, but her coming out to put that in there that she kind of did a different routine that day just so he would have his game time when she was only supposed to be gone for 30 minutes. So by the time he ate his peach and did his chores and did all this, she would have been home soon anyway, supposedly. But he ended up hanging on a swing set.
Mm.
Raybird, we're gonna listen to the sheriff's report, and he talks a little bit about that, but and how the sister found them. Like she just picked them up with one hand. Something's
Yeah,
weird
so
about
that's a
that
good.
sentence to
Yeah.
me. I don't know why.
Mm.
That's the only thing so far that really stands out that she makes it important that she's got to say that she was going to. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Okay.
All right. Uh, where are we? Okay. But first, before he woke up his brother, he needed a snack. He took some jarred peaches out of the fridge, one of his favourite after-school snacks, and put one into a bowl. Sean's chore was to take the trash out,
Wait a
and we
second.
believe
You don't think that's weird right there, too?
why? What?
But first, before he woke his brother, he needed a snack. Where did this come from? Did he tell you, "Oh, I can't wake up. I got to get a snack first"? To the peach in the bowl. Like, that's not weird. Is that why is that just me? What is weird about that? Okay.
All right. I think when she wrote this, she's writing the narrative from her perspective of what she thinks Sean did. Because, of course, she doesn't know because Sean has already passed. So she sees the peach in the bowl still sitting on the kitchen table, right? So she's writing this narrative of thinking, okay, well, Sean must have thought, well, before I wake my brother up, I'm going to grab myself a snack because you don't
Yeah.
want to share with your brother. I'm just putting it out
Yeah,
there.
that's true. I mean, but then you don't think it's weird too about the so his alarm goes off. Okay, continue. The three. He's on an alarm that's going to go off at 3:30 and tell him what? Are your chores done, boy? Like, I mean, what is the alarm at 3:30? The mother's supposed to be gone for 30 minutes. Okay, let me shut up.
Well, you got to remember these guys are military and they run on a time schedule. I
Yep,
mean,
you just answered what I'm saying. So the whole entire thing of letting the iPad go upstairs and giving him doesn't make sense to me any longer. And now this
okay,
confirms it with the alarm going off. What the hell? An alarm?
uh, We believe at 3:30 his alarm went off as he was preparing his snack and he went upstairs quickly to complete his chore. Okay, all right, I get this bit now. He must have an alarm set on his phone that states he must have all his chores done by X time in order for him to play his games. And he must have
Uh-huh.
an allocated set time that he can play games. So he must have, I mean, I'm just going from my father was in the military too. And
My father too,
we
he
were
was a
told, we
Marine, but he
didn't,
never put me on a damn timer and to do things at a certain time, especially if you're calling that much. Like if you're gonna
oh,
call if you're gonna call 3 times back to back with this stuff, then why on God's name does the kid have a timer?
well, I didn't have a timer in my day because we didn't have mobile phones when I was a kid. But I had a written schedule as a kid and it was up on the fridge. And it had, mum and dad knew what time I got home from school, and I had on the fridge a schedule of what I had to do by what time, and I had to have all those things done before my dad got home at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, see, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
All right, continue, Miss Kazaru. I don't know how tall he is. Maybe we'll find out in some more reports that we're gonna look through. But 12 years old, he looks kind of small. I don't know what,
Mm.
4'8", 4'9".
Yeah. I'm not,
I'll look sassafras.
okay. Went off in front.
I'll see if
He
I can
went.
find. Well, there. You know what? Even though he is a minor, so I don't know how Virginia works. But let me see if I can find anything on him as
Okay.
far as what the cause of death they say.
He gathered the trash from the two upstairs bathrooms and came downstairs to gather the trash in the kitchen. This is where things get weird. Kitchen trash was never taken out. His Crocs were found next to the trash in the kitchen. No one in this house was ever barefoot. And in fact, Sean had a strange thing about being barefoot. He never walked around like that. He couldn't stand it. What happened as he was gathering the trash? Sean's 2-year-old brother recalls only that there was a friend chasing Sean around and punching him. He also said the man touched his arm. Was someone in the house? Who? Ramona's last call before she entered the appointment was the last time she or anyone spoke to Sean. He never logged in to play Fortnite with his friends. He never took the iPad off the charger for his brother. His Crocs were found upside down next to the trash, and the trash was never taken out. On the counter sat an untouched jarred peach. Now, a lot of people would think, and we had this discussion, Mark, that why why has he got the thing about not going barefoot? But like I said, my nephew, as soon as he gets out of the shower, he puts a pair of socks on because he
Yeah,
can't
I don't go
stand
barefoot.
the feeling of having um, his feet touching the floor.
A lot of people are like that. But it says here
Mm,
the autopsy report from the state office of the chief medical examiner states that Sean was found partially suspended by a shoelace type of string, in which we're going to find out exactly what kind of string that is, that was tied to the swing set. While hanging, there was reportedly a nylon bag over his head and belt strapped around his abdomen, pinning both of his arms to his side, the report says. It was also noted that he was wearing his stepfather's clothes and was barefoot. His glasses were on the ground, broken nearby, and no note was found. In the parents' bedroom, Sean's underwear were on the floor and the dresser drawers were open.
mm,
And that's exactly what that says. Suicide hanging. Go ahead, Kaz.
okay. All right. This is post for Where is Sean? Maria, Sean's older sister, had been at a tennis match after school. She was rushing home because her boyfriend, AJ, and his mother were picking her up to go to his lacrosse game. When she got home, the front door was locked. She rang the bell and knocked, and no one answered. Where was Sean? He was supposed to be home. She called her mother, Ramona, who told her to call Sean and advised that he was probably gaming upstairs. Maria was frustrated. She was in a rush. She called Sean
Wait,
twice.
wait. Why was she? Oh, Maria. Okay, the sister now.
Maria.
Never mind. I'm thinking of the mom. Okay.
Okay.
She's mad. Where are you, you little brat? Open the door. I gotta get in.
Yeah.
Why was the door locked though? Like, so this girl, so Maria doesn't have a key to the house. The door is locked, and she can't get in, so she goes around to the back.
And why doesn't a daughter have a key to her own home?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Hey, Plankin. So there's no key to the house. She goes around the back. And another thing that we're gonna hear about too is that back part that nobody goes around. It has that 3-foot fence. That
Mm,
part to me was very bizarre too.
mm.
Go ahead, Riri.
Um, Maria called Sean twice and texted 3 times at 4:50, but there was no response. Now remember the mum said she was only going to be an hour, but this is already over an hour that she's been gone
Yes.
because
Yep.
but
That's
there
why
was
we have to do a timeline, Kaz, to see where this
yeah.
phone call comes in because this phone call is long. The kid's on an alarm. For some reason that day you're calling him a few times to say this, to say that, and to say why are you calling him so much? If it's this short of a time, it's almost like overkill on what was going on that day in the calls and stuff.
Or was it the norm? Did she do this all the time?
That's what I'm saying. We need to know, and we don't know
Mm,
that, so we can only
mm.
speculate. But to me, that's a lot of overbearing if that's the case on a kid 12 years old.
It is.
And then the peach just sitting in the bowl like that. Like, I don't know, but I don't know any of mine to ever put a peach or do something like that until after their chores were done. Like, it seemed like there was a lot going on for a 12-year-old between the garbage, the Crocs, the peach, just the bathroom ties now not adding up or garbage bag ties. Like, what in the heck is
See,
going
for a
on?
12 see for a 12-year-old only having chores to do is pretty light in my opinion because at 12-year-old my chores was doing the family ironing and I had 3 bedrooms and a bathroom to clean. So just putting out the trash is pretty light.
I get that, but the phone call is now long. The mom is calling. Like, how are you calling so much just from driving to a fast EKG appointment down the road? Like, it's just weird now.
Yeah. All right. Where was I? Maria decided to run around the back and to try and enter through the back door, and that's when she saw him. She froze at that moment, entering a state of shock as she tried to process what she was seeing. A person was hanging from their swing set,
My God.
unnaturally, with a bag over their head. She looked around, trying to figure out if she could get into the house. Hang on a minute, I've got the garbage man coming. Hang on a minute. Just
I mean, Sassafras says, I think there's a possibility that Sean unlived himself. The scenario involves the stepfather saying Sean, saying, excuse me, Sean, hence why he was in his stepfather's clothing. It's a possible. That's so scary. Hey, Princess Megan, hey, Sweet and Spice, I don't put anything past anyone anymore with what I
Mhm.
read in today's world. Nothing can surprise me, I don't think anymore.
Yeah, true, true.
I think I'm completely thick-skinned over most of. I just say to Cass, "Oh, look at this guy dated this girl and put her head on a stick." Cass is like, "You're crazy with these things you find." I'm like, "They find me. Like, you cannot make it up." Guy driving
No,
around with his girlfriend's head on a stick. Like, who in God's name does this shit?
weird people. Um, she looked around, trying to figure out if she could get into the house before this stranger got to her. But she realized the figure was not moving, nor was it facing her. Utterly confused, she scanned the yard to make sure she wasn't alone and locked eyes with the landscaper mowing the neighbour's yard. who was also very puzzled and just standing there.
What?
Suddenly,
And supposedly, this is a yard, from what the parents say, that has a 3-foot fence, and there's no way you can't see over it. And the landscaper should have been able to see somebody putting the kid onto a swing set, right?
yeah, and if you saw, if he's mowing, surely he would have seen a body hanging from the swing set. What,
I'm
you're
sorry,
just going
Nana.
to ignore that?
Yeah, I'm sorry you lost your husband, Sugar. Yeah, I get that, but this day to me, just the way the grandma comes out, doesn't even say bye. I mean, just something's just not sitting right. It's just like I don't know. It's just weird.
Yes.
And if a
Well,
stranger did come in and do this, like the whole underwear on the floor, like he was taking, like that doesn't seem to me like a stranger would be like, take off your underwear, boy, and put your stepfather's clothes on. Like that to me is so effing bizarre. Like
mhm,
no, no. Why
mhm,
not just put the pants over your underwear? Why did we go as far as to taking off the underwear and putting on the dad's complete clothes? Like, see, that's personal to me, and that's weird.
yes,
Like that doesn't. That's
yeah,
like the one thing that would tell me exactly what Nana and Sassafras were saying is maybe the stepfather was weird, and maybe the kid had had enough. But if he wasn't your real father, why not go and tell your mom? The mom's got
that's easier
overkill.
said than done, though.
Something's weird.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's weird. Just
yeah.
in my mind right now, I just got the what the F emoji going on inside my head.
Mhm. Uh, Suddenly confident, since she wasn't alone, she came within a 15-foot radius and called out, "Hello," but there was no response. Thoughts chaotically ran through her mind as she tried to process what she was seeing. The hands and legs looked so familiar. It was Sean. Hysterically, she ran up to her brother and confirmed it was him by looking closely at his hands, which were both bound to his waist by a belt and
This part,
discolored from the lack of circulation.
this part.
Screaming, she lifted her
How?
brother. Yeah, well,
Th-
that is right. How? How
This is a
can you tie
mind.
yourself up with your arms bound tightly by a belt? All right. Could you put it back over your head first? Yes, you could. But he is blind as a bat. He needs glasses. There is no glasses. He's got a bag that's covering his eyes. You can't see through the bag. How can a person tie themselves up so tight with the belt and there was none of Sean's DNA on that belt? Zero.
See, because maybe they borrowed the gloves from the scene port at Debbie Collier. Like, I mean, maybe they wore gloves.
Mm. But they're saying
Okay.
Sean, if they're saying Sean did this to himself, there's Sean would have had DNA on the belt.
Do
As they're
you
saying,
think
there was
maybe
DNA
Sean?
on his.
You think maybe Sean horribly did something to himself, and then they put it out there to stage it like that he did it to him, like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like something is so
Yeah,
weird about this. Yeah, TJ talks the whole stepdad's clothes. Like if it was an accident and you were gonna rule it, like why would you put your stepdad's clothes on? And the whole yeah, something is so okay. We're gonna be at 3 hours, Kaz. Go ahead.
okay. Well, can I say something, please, Ma?
Hang
Stop
on.
interrupting me, or I'm going to
Let
get
me
my
get my
kangaroo.
kangaroo video. Yeah, you can say something.
I'm going to smack you in a minute.
Oh shit.
Where's my tape? Hysterically, she ran to her brother. I've read that. See, you're blowing me away. Screaming, she lifted her brother with one arm in hopes of releasing the pressure from his head and called 911 at 4:54 p.m. With her other hand, she removed him from his hanging position by simply lifting the shoelace type string over his head with 3 fingers. brought him down to the ground, and performed CPR for 6 minutes with the assistance of the 911 dispatcher until the EMTs took over. Sean was dressed in men's clothing, his
He looked like
arms
a
so
girl.
tightly bound to his waist. The EMTs made note of how difficult it had been to remove it.
Yeah,
They had to.
exactly. How are you gonna make a belt that tight and keep your arms in and make it that tight at 12 years old?
Impossible. They had to
Absolutely.
unbuckle and move it so that they could administer shocks with the AED. He had a bag over his head, and his glasses were broken and found in the vicinity. His eyesight was so poor he couldn't see without his glasses. He could How could this clumsy 12-year-old suspend himself in such an awkward position with the bag on his head while his hands were belted so tightly to his waist without being able to see? He was suspended by his chin, not his neck. At any point he could have stood up and saved himself, but he did not.
Right?
His feet were dragging on the ground, and his
How do you
and his
hang yourself with the feet dragging on the ground?
you can't. Well, you can actually. You can. That's a lie. You
The
can.
kid is 12. I mean, for one thing, if you're just maybe hanging on the swing set, but the belt and the bag and the father's clothes, like what in the entire F is going on?
It's a good question.
I mean, this is not normal. I mean, even for whoever did what to cover up, like this is probably one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard in my 23 years of living.
Okay. His feet were dragging on the ground, and his bent knees were mere inches from the ground as well. In fact, normal hanging injuries weren't present. It looked like he had been killed elsewhere and propped ornamentally outside, displayed in men's clothing and suspended like a doll.
Wait,
His
why
knees
do
were
but where does that come in? Like suspended like a dog. Like I don't think I've ever seen dogs suspended. Like
no, not dogs, darling, doll, DOLL.
oh, a doll. Okay.
His
Look how
knees
bizarre. But in the listen. Now we're gonna go into the sheriff's report next. How crazy this is, but I'm so confused.
How could he have perfectly clean feet? And this has been contested. How could he have perfectly clean feet? He had walked barefoot from the house to the swing set through their swampy spring yard. It was April, and the whole yard was mud and dust.
Huh?
Ramona arrived home from the appointment to find her house swarming with emergency medical personnel, and she jumped out of her SUV and ran toward the commotion. She, she saw them working on Sean,
This
and
part's
in that
weird.
instant, the life she had lived ceased to exist. As Sean's body
What?
jumped,
What is that weird to me or what is wrong?
what? What's wrong?
I guess it's the person writing the article is just explaining it has like I don't know, just the emphasis that they use is just kind of like he was still being worked on, so why did your instant
Well,
life she had lived cease to exist? Like what the F? Like I'm sorry. That is so weird to me.
I think what she's trying to say, and just it's the way she's written it, is when a mother sees her child lying on the ground being worked on by paramedics, your life flashes before you, and you've got to lose a child to know what that feeling is like. To lose a child, you feel like your whole life is ended.
I
And I
get
think that
that,
is,
Kaz, but this is like you don't even realize like what happened. I mean, unless you already know. Well, I mean, this is okay. Keep going. This is weird. This whole thing is weird. Everything is weird. This kid did not do this to himself.
oh no, 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 I don't believe so either. As Sean's body jumped through the air with each shock from the AED, she knew they were too late. Through heroic efforts from Maria, they were able to get a heartbeat, but there wasn't enough electricity to sustain it. They would find out later that Sean had actually been gone for some time, and there was no chance that he could have been revived. A belt that completely immobilized his arms and hands, a bag over his head, broken glasses, suspended by the chin, clean feet dragging with knees almost touching the ground, a string so thin and loose it didn't even need to be cut, men's clothing. Sean was gone.
Okay, so let's go over now
There's
and
more.
watch their police report. Oh, are you done with that? Or you have a little more?
There's more.
Oh yeah, and yeah, because you didn't talk about the part with the backyard that the mother mentions the side of the house that I think is so freaking weird. Hey, Katie Lynn. Yeah, I know, Katie, but just some of the things are so weird. Like, just something is so weird. Something's not right. I mean, something's not right, but the cop. So this is so weird.
All right. This is the fifth post. As Ramona was driving home from the appointment, Maria called to say that Sean wasn't opening the door. She she told Maria to call him. This is Ramona told Maria to call him. He was probably gaming upstairs with his brother. Oddly enough, all of the traffic lights were green on the way home, except the last one. As she sat by the light, a fire engine and an emergency pickup came blazing past, and she suddenly felt ill. She muffled under her breath, "Please don't turn right," but they did. She sped up and watched them take the next right into her neighborhood. She thought, "Please God, don't let it be at my house." The siren stopped and she couldn't see the vehicles anymore. She turned left into her lane and saw them all in front of her house. Ramona threw her SUV into park, told Vijay she was going in, and ran toward the backyard. They had an entrance on each side of the house, but one on the right was never used.
Okay, hang on, Kaz. This is the part I'm talking about. This is so bizarre. Okay, go ahead.
In fact, from the road you couldn't tell it was a gate because a bush was too close to it. Everyone was gathered near the gate on the right side of the house, but the gate on the left was wide open. Why? Ramona ran through the open gate on the left and saw everyone gathered under the swing set. She tried to focus and figure out what was happening. Suddenly she saw this body with naked legs lying on the ground, and EMTs working around him. An officer rushed towards her and told her to move away and let the medics do their job. She heard the AED and saw this body rise from the ground and slam back down. Her knees hit the ground, and from the depths of a place she never knew existed, she screamed, "No!" As Sean's body continued going up and down, a million thoughts went through her mind. What was Sean doing outside? Did he fall? Was there an accident? As these thoughts were racing through her mind, she heard someone yell, "Heartbeat!" The police officer again insisted she step further back so they could do their jobs. It then occurred to her that her toddler wasn't there. Realizing that he wasn't outside, Ramona turned around just see Maria running towards her. They both ran into the house with the officer right behind them. As Ramona turned the doorknob, it opened immediately. The door was unlocked. She ran forward and saw the Crocs upside down next to the two closed garbage bags on the floor that were ready to be taken out. She scanned the living room for her toddler and noticed two little legs hiding beneath a pile of laundry on their chair. She yelled his name, scooped him up, and he opened his eyes and started to cry. He was really limp and just out of it. He didn't seem like his normal self.
I was
Ramona ran to,
go. I
pardon?
was gonna wait for Kaz to finish, and I was gonna say, "Are you reading a book? Like this is like a novel."
I know. I feel like I'm reading a book. Uh,
Yeah, we're gonna go look at the pictures, Leonard, and we're gonna go see the sheriff after this because this is what he says is absolutely insanity.
Yeah. Um, Ramona ran to the front door and it was locked as Maria had stated. They opened the door and ran outside to the front yard. She noticed a neighbour standing nearby with the landscaper. She ran up and yelled out, "What happened? Did you see what happened?" The neighbour said no. She turned towards the landscaper who mumbled, "I don't know him who did it."
What? Wait,
I'll
wait,
read
read
it
that
again.
sentence again. What
I'll
the
read
heck?
it again. She turned towards the landscaper. Now, remember, I read before that Maria, when she got into the backyard, she saw the landscaper in the neighbor's yard. And I questioned why didn't, surely the landscaper saw what was going on and why didn't he call the police? And the landscaper said, and I quote, "I don't know him who did it." Hmm. She
I
ran over to,
know him. Who
did
did?
it.
Oh, that's another strange little thing in there. Okay.
Ramona ran over to the other neighbour on the other side who was also mowing the grass, and he too said he didn't see anything. How could all of her neighbours be outside doing yard work and not see anything? The fence is only 3 feet tall. No matter who she asked, nobody saw anything. Nobody knew anything. One neighbour even had several cameras affixed to his house that pointed into her yard, but they were disconnected and hadn't been recording in years. Ramona's husband was in Williamsburg with their middle son at ABA services and at least 35 to 40 minutes away.
Oh, so it's 35 to 40, not an hour. Okay, that tightens up that timeline a little bit.
Mm. She needed help immediately, so she called her boss and she told him that she thought Sean had, was deceased and he said he'd be right over. She called her husband Jared and could only say that Sean was hurt really bad and that they were trying to revive him. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He ran into the building, grabbed their son, and jumped into the car. Ramona watched as the ambulance with Sean pulled away as they wouldn't let her ride with him.
Okay. Does that honestly make sense that they wouldn't let the mother of a 12-year-old go into the ambulance?
Well, it depends on how many EMTs are working on him to revive him. They may not have the spaces.
Hey, warlike wrath. Well, your kid is being like basically trying to bring him back from the dead, and you're not going to let that. That to me is weird too, because I would definitely be in the back of that ambulance. Like
Yeah.
you're one of you are getting out because I'm getting in. Like,
She hopped, but here you go. She hopped into the first responders' fire pickup truck and they began backing out into the road. As they pulled out, Maria's boyfriend AJ and his mum pulled up. AJ jumped out to console Maria and Jamie jumped out as well. She ran up to Ramona in the pickup and said, "What the F? Is he okay?"
that's
Ramona shook her
weird
head.
too, right? The neighbor running up and yelling the F word
No,
out.
not the neighbour, not the neighbour. This must be Maria's boyfriend's mum.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. We're gonna have to find out who she is. Okay, that's weird. That you're okay. Go. Like, why even put that in there?
I don't know. Ramona
Right,
shook her
Sugar?
head.
You would have to take me off the side of the ambulance. I would be clung on there like Spider-Man. Hey, Warlike, like there's no way I'm not going.
Yeah,
I'm driving in the front seat. I'm sitting in the middle. I'm sitting on the passenger EMT's lap. Well, he should be in the back working anyways. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I'm going.
yeah. Well, when Ross was having his heart attack, there was two paramedics in the back with Ross. The driver of the ambulance was in the front, and I was sitting in the passenger seat at the front.
Yeah, exactly.
So
This is just like a book.
I wasn't allowed to be in the back, but I was sitting in the front.
All right, go ahead,
Um,
Casper.
okay. Ramona asked the driver if he had an update on Sean since the rig was far ahead of them, and he told her to have hope since they were able to get a few beats on the ground. Still in uniform, Ramona walked into the emergency room. They were expecting her. She was guided through a secure door down to where Sean was being worked on. There were nurses and doctors 3 rows deep in the hall, all watching and praying. A woman in scrubs fell to her knees in prayer with tears. Oh, that's a bit
What
over
the
dramatic. I
hell?
don't believe that. I do not believe that.
Wait. Can you read
Uh,
exactly, Seashells? Can you read that again? Like, this is as good as Amanda calling 911 to ask how come they didn't check her mother's GPS. What
they
the
were they were nurses and doctors 3 rows deep in the hall, all watching and praying. I call BS on that. A woman in scrubs, in other words, she was either a nurse or a
Yeah, we
doctor,
get what she is. She's a nurse or a doctor, scrubs, probably a
fell fell to her knees in prayer with tears pouring down her face. Come on, talk about an over dramatization. The crowd parted. The crowd, Moses, parted the crowd all at once and turned
let
towards her to
my
make
planties.
way for the
Ah,
physician to come out.
that's a cute name. I was like, wait, what? My what? Planties. Okay, well, I don't believe that for a minute. That
No,
is
nor
just
do I.
little,
That
a little
that
re-
is that is an over. I think they're doing this for the upcoming dramatization of Sean's demise, because that's what it sounds like. And we will now watch the mother's clip, and this is the response um, to the clip of the mother, to the video afterwards. Because
Are you playing the mother's clip, Kaz? I'll
well,
get.
you can do that one, darling. I need to give up. I need to respond to that phone call that played. So
I'm just gonna
I'll
play this out though. I'm not gonna stop, guys. Just tell me if you can hear it, Kaz, real quick.
yeah, I will. I will.
Let me share my screen. And yes, my elderly cats. The mom was born where, Kaz? Lithuania?
Latvia, Latvia.
Latvia. Okay.
Stop it.
Oh, that's the wrong one, guys. Hang on. Shit.
Uh,
God, I love
Ma,
that.
Ma thinks she's funny.
I love that. Stop talking over me. Come here, girl. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you can hear it, Kaz.
Yes.
Told me a few times that they really don't know how to investigate this kind of murder case because it's really complicated. They don't have the experience. They have never seen something like this before. Then please do me the favor and turn it over to the state police or FBI who do it all the time. We just had amazing vacation. He just got back on a Sunday. It was the reward for the kids. He had got all A's. He was in a very good spirit. It was like a regular day. And my mom comes out. She's like in a hurry. The doctor's office called and said, hey, she needs an EKG. But the appointment is only 25 minutes. It's a safe neighborhood. And he said, Mom, don't worry. I got it. You know, I love babysitting. He was reading his book later. I could see he had pulled it out. Mom, Shirley's not answering the door. Police and ambulances just went by and fire trucks. And I was like, my stomach dropped. The chair wasn't exactly next to him. Please didn't ask many questions. I told them Sean didn't do it. He was killed that first night. I told them all. I need to see where's my youngest one. He was like an exhausted doll. He opened his eyes. He was all sweaty. It looked like he had been crying. Personally, I think that he woke up from the hustle and bustle, what was happening. I saw all kinds of stuff in the house that was out of place. I froze because I was like, that's a huge handprint on the door. That's not Sean's. Hand was not from the outside, but from the inside.
What is up with the fixations of dolls, too? How bizarre is this? What did Mo say? Now he's hanging like a doll. This kid looks like a doll. The little boy. I don't know, guys. This is so bizarre. But if it was an accident and they made it look like something, like why would they want to reopen the investigation? Like it's so bizarre.
And it was the left hand. I saw some splatters that seemed like small blood things that I asked them to collect. Sean definitely had blood on when I did the picture on his hand, but the officer, she washed it off. The belt was tied around my son. Oh, they said, oh, he probably tied it himself and all that. So why there was no DNA on the belt? 4 weeks later, taking fingerprints. 4 weeks later, after we raised hell. 4 weeks later, going around the neighbors asking if they saw anything. I screamed in the hospital saying my son was murdered. There's something really wrong. When I walked into our bedroom,
This part.
I literally almost walked onto Sean's underwear. They were there.
How bizarre is that part? Why is that part so bizarre to me? The underwear that he takes off to put on his stepdad's clothes. Right, Plankin? And she says the officer washed the blood off. But wait till you hear what the sheriff says. I mean, it's so bizarre.
Sean never, ever in his life has taken his underwear off in my bedroom. There's no reason for it.
Right.
And it was across from my husband's clothes, and my husband's drawers were opened up because Sean was dressed in my husband's clothes. So was the ambush in his room then,
Nope.
and then he dragged him, or they fought all the way to our bedroom. So he was interrupted. Did they wrestle to get up the stairs? Did they fight their way up? I don't know. I think that someone saw something, and I think not just one. I think a couple people saw something, but I know there was no real investigation. If you ask the parents to find the person who did it, and we are not investigators, there's a problem. They're asking me to find the person. We don't want to investigate, just say it. I have a text where it says, it's time to move on and live my life. I know we have really good neighborhood, and I know people want to help. They just don't know that we are asking for help.
What the hell is going on, guys? What on God's name? How bizarre is this? But let's listen to the sheriff now, just to throw a little monkey wrench into this because it's so bizarre. Like, what am I missing? Let me pause him real quick. This is bizarre. Oh my gosh, sugar, that's horrible. I couldn't even imagine. Did you come back yet, Kazaru? Now, I'm not going to interrupt him because I want you guys, if you haven't heard this, to really just listen to everything he debunks, but then I was even more confused on this one.
Community that the death of a 12-year-old on April the 14th, 2022 has not been fully investigated by the sheriff's office, and that there may be a killer in our area that poses a threat. Nothing could be further from the truth. It has been the long-standing policy of the York Pocosin Sheriff's Office to not release information relating to cases of suicide, particularly those cases that involve children. We do everything within our power to preserve the privacy of the grieving family. We take these matters very seriously, evaluate all evidence, and consider all possibilities. The York Pocosin Sheriff's Office is aware of a recent social media site created to provide the public with theories surrounding the death of this 12-year-old. Much of the information being posted to this social media site is opinion, innuendo, and fabrication, which is not consistent with the evidence that was collected by Sheriff's Office investigators during their investigation.
What the hell?
Once that evidence was collected, it was submitted to the Department of Forensic Science for evaluation and later to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. By law, in Virginia, it is the Chief Medical Examiner's responsibility to determine the manner and cause of death, which they, the Chief Medical Examiner's Office, determined to be a suicide. In addition, the Sheriff's Office met with the family on multiple occasions and gave them the opportunity to discuss this investigation. Additionally, an offer was made to have a group meeting after the findings of the Chief Medical Examiner's Office that would include the family, members of the York Pocosin Sheriff's Office, and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. As of this date, the family has not expressed interest in scheduling the meeting. Instead, they chose to post this video publicly. There were several key points that were made in this.
Now, I have to agree with the Kazaru on this part. It is weird. Why didn't the mom go down, if this is the truth, and do what he was asking? It's so, like, right? This is like a mind F. Like, this is crazy. Crazy.
Video that the Sheriff's Office will address. First, in the video, the mother said, "They have told me a few times that they really don't know how to investigate this kind of murder case because it's really complicated." The implication being we, the York Pocosin Sheriff's Office. That statement is absolutely not true and was never made to this mother. Our investigators are recognized in the Hampton Roads area as professional, caring, competent major crimes investigators. They have investigated and solved numerous cases that include homicides, suicides, rapes, and robberies. They have several decades of investigative experience within the division. The investigation divisions consist of graduates of the Virginia Forensic Science Academy, which has certified them as crime scene experts. Along with processing the scene and interviewing witnesses and the family, investigators interviewed a significant number of people to include surrounding neighbors, lawn care personnel, school officials, friends of the 12-year-old, and other community members. The results of these initial interviews did not identify any potential suspects. Also, during the course of this investigation, the family provided information on individuals they believe may be involved in the case. Their suspicions were based on people that they merely believed to be in the area at the time of the incident. These individuals were all located, interviewed, and ruled out as persons of interest by Sheriff's Office investigators. The evidence collected and documentation shows many discrepancies in the version that was put forth on the family's page. The videos and photos you see on their social media site are not from the actual scene.
What?
They have been fabricated.
Yeah.
What?
First, the video of the man walking in front of their house is from 1 month after the incident, not the day of the incident.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that might just be put into the video because whoever did that video with the mom like had some skills of editing and stuff. So with the music and the things coming in, the picture show and stuff, but yeah, why put this in the mix just to show that some guy is probably walking home down the road at night like that a month later, if that's the truth? Like, what is going on, Kaz?
No, that was weird putting that into the mix.
5/16, 2022, 22:34, 19 seconds. And he went missing. He was found on 4 April what? I forget the date. 14th?
Yeah, it was
What the hell is going on?
yeah, it was A totally different date.
You know, that's what I couldn't find yesterday. I couldn't find it to save my life. I would love if anyone has the link to the mother and the father sitting at the picnic table on that one interview where the stepfather was talking. I can't find it. Okay, what did you say, Kazaru?
I said that was a little while after Sean
A
was gone.
month.
Yeah.
Why put this out there?
Yeah, because they're discrediting themselves by doing that.
Ridiculous.
But
Okay, so here we go. Major Montgomery.
the spatter image depicted in the video was not from the scene. However, we went back to the home on May 20th, 2022 at the request of the family. During that visit, the mother pointed out a red stain on the wall in the upstairs area of the home.
Weird.
Investigators photographed that stain on that date. Later, investigators reviewed the photographs that were taken on April the 14th, 2022, the day of the tragedy, and that stain was not present on that wall on April the 14th.
Okay, it was the 14th. You tell me, why are we trying to make it? I mean, obviously people are thinking that this boy did not do this to himself, or maybe he did. The whole belt thing throws me for a loop. I can't see how that's possible. But
I agree.
So there's blood, there's not blood, there's blood on his hands, but the cop washed it off. Like, what is going on?
I mean,
What
if
are
they
we
did,
missing?
yeah, if they did, well, it quite plainly shows there's no blood on that wall on the day that the investigators were there. And miraculously,
Do you think the police would want to cover this up as being a suicide? Because right now the sheriff elections are going on in the United States.
Are they?
They are. I don't know. He's a major sheriff. What the heck this guy is? But what? I mean, so why? If the stain's not here now, did she put the stain on the wall, or did the stain happen from the 2-year-old or Maria after the fact? And then you're just going to take a picture and mail it in. Like, I'm not understanding what the hell people are trying to make us think.
Well, it discredits them, if anything.
Well, there has to be a biological dad, Seashells. I don't know. We haven't even dug onto the surface of this case. We were just wanted to see what you guys were thinking because I'm like, what the hell is going on? What do you think, Kaz?
Yeah, well, by this blood spot appearing after the event, I mean, that's ludicrous. I mean, did they not? I mean, they're lieutenant colonels in the military. One would think they would have enough common sense to know that they photographed walls. But in saying that, why would they photograph a wall if there was nothing on the wall?
Because when people go into a scene of an area, the investigators and the little boy being inside with the Crocs and the garbage bags, they're going to take photographs of every. You watch trials, Kaz, in the States.
I do.
That's what they're doing.
I
They
watch
take
a lot.
pictures of the crime scene, every wall, every corner, from the door coming in. They just take pictures so they can go back so shit like this doesn't happen. But that's weird. Oh, we're not even there. The chair's weird. Forget about the blood stain on the wall. The garbage bags don't add up now. This is weird. That's weird. The chair's weird. So what was the chair put out there to make us think that he stood on the chair to put the shoelace around his neck when his feet could touch the ground? Like, what are we missing? I'm starting to get a little nuts. Let me play this. You want to say something, Rue?
No, you go for it.
Right? And where's the other kid? I thought there was 4 kids. I thought there's 2 babies and Maria and Sean. So where's the other kid in this? Did you take the kid with you? Did the kid stay at home? Was the kid in the garage? I mean, where's the other kid?
2022. In the mother's video, she states that her 2-year-old child witnessed the events that occurred in the house. During a recorded interview on April the 14th, 2022, between the mother and sheriff's office investigators, she stated when she left the house that afternoon to take her mother to an appointment, the child was asleep. When she returned home after the tragedy had been discovered, she is quoted as saying to the sheriff's office investigator, quote, "Thank God he was still asleep," meaning the 2-year-old. The information that she stated in her video about the 2-year-old has never been disclosed to the sheriff's office. In the mother's video, she stated there was mud in the backyard, even refers to it as swampy. And she noted that there was no dirt on the 12-year-old's feet. Images from the day of the incident on April the 14th show that the grass was not wet and the yard was not swampy.
Okay. This is another completely mind F. Like, what is going on?
Well, if you look underneath the swings, I mean, I don't know what type of soil but underneath
It's
that
grass, and underneath the swing set is from their feet being there, so it's killed the grass, and it's just dirt with sand.
Okay, maybe that is what she's referring to as being muddy and
Oh shit.
dirt.
Yeah, but supposedly the sheriff is saying that this picture was taken the day of the crime. Well, hang on. Is she saying, is this her picture? No, this is his picture. He's
Yeah,
saying
this is
that
a
it
crime
was
scene
not
photo.
wet and it was not swampy. She's
No,
saying that how could he not have any mud on his feet because it was wet and swampy. Hey, Edward.
all right. I agree with the fact that it does not look swampy. It looks quite dry,
No, it's
actually.
dry.
But underneath the swing set, there is dirt there. So
Yeah, but it's like sand, Kaz. I can tell by looking at it that dirt's
yeah,
not
it does
wet.
look like sand. But if a kid dragged that rattan chair over to the swing set to
Where are the drag marks in the grass then? He's not
exactly.
lifting that chair up and just carrying it over there.
Mm,
You would have to drag it in the grass. I mean, the kid's 12. He looks like he's a little kid.
mm.
Edward
Well,
said he
if
was murdered.
Maria could pick him up and lift him off, he
Yep.
mustn't weigh that much.
She lifted him with one hand, she said, and pulled the string, and he was hanging by his chin.
Mm.
Let's listen to this man. It's crazy. Like, where's the drag marks from the chair? I mean, what 12-year-old, unless he's like totally OCD, but who's going to bring the chair out like that and line it up that perfect? But it's not even where it needs to be. Like, why wouldn't it be underneath the swings? So weird.
There have been many statements on this website regarding the alleged staging of the scene. The photo of the backyard displayed on the social media site shows a swing set and a chair. It's important to note that the swings that are wrapped over the top post of the swing set and the chair were moved by York County Fire and Life Safety personnel in order to create enough space to render life-saving measures. The chair was moved from its original location under the swing by Fire and Life Safety personnel, where the child, the 12.
So he's saying the swing was underneath the swing set and they moved it. But still, even if it was underneath the swing set, where's the drag marks into the sand? Like, why? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, something's weird.
And where did that chair set come from? Where did the
it
chair
must have
come
been
from
sitting on
originally?
well, it looks like patio furniture, so it definitely looks like it's outside furniture. Maybe we're gonna have to go have a look at the house. I bet you we can find it on one of those moving house for sale rent places and see the inside and the back. Probably patio furniture. What the hell is going on?
12-year-old was hanging to the front of the swing set, and the swings were moved to provide workspace. Our investigation determined that the chair was originally located on the deck at the rear of the home and was moved to the swing set area. Also, during the course of our investigation, DNA samples were collected from the cord that the 12-year-old was found suspended from. This cord was not a shoestring. It came from a motorcycle helmet bag that belonged to the stepfather that had been previously located in the garage. The 12-year-old's DNA was the only DNA found on this cord. Specifically,
well, if it's a motorcycle helmet bag, that is not a thick cord by any stretch of the imagination. When I first heard this, I thought it was a thicker cord, what he was referring to. If it's a cord from a drawstring cord from a bag, that is not a thick cord. So
Yeah, we're gonna have a look at the house and see what kind of setup it was. Probably the deck. I don't even know if the house has a deck. But then you go into the garage, you get the cord, you drag the chair out, you flip, you have the other swings are down. Supposedly it's swampy. You have the kid has clean feet. I just don't know what to make of it.
but he would have at least sand on his feet, surely.
He would have to have sand on his feet. I mean, a little sand. I mean, there is sand underneath the swing set. This is so bizarre.
The DNA swabs were taken from the knot placed in that cord, and the only DNA on that knot belonged to the 12-year-old. In the video, there's an allegation that members of the YPSO, the York Pocosin Sheriff's Office, washed blood from the 12-year-old. At no point did any member of the Sheriff's Office clean or remove any blood from the scene or the child. At the hospital, investigators placed bags over the 12-year-old's hands prior to him being transported to the medical examiner's office. This is common practice to prevent the loss of any potential trace evidence.
Okay, so I don't under. So they didn't wash the blood off. She says where is the blood coming from? And then there's blood on a wall that wasn't there supposedly when the police were there. This is really, really something's just so not right. How did they think that this? How would they even explain how the kid got into the belt with the putting the? I mean, how could you explain that? Like, what am I missing?
Based on the fact that the family was telling us that neighbors had information that they were providing to the family about possible suspects, our investigators went back to interview those neighbors, and none provided any additional information or new investigative leads. There is a statement in the mother's video about the unusual location of the 12-year-old's underwear. The clothing that the 12-year-old was wearing when he was located that day belonged to his stepfather, to include the stepfather's shirt, pants, belt, and stepfather's underwear. The 12-year-old's underwear were found in the same room where his stepfather's clothes were kept. In the video, the mother states that someone from the York Pocosin Sheriff's Office.
Okay. If this is actually somebody did this to them, they set up everything from the shoes to the peach in the bowl to everything. Like, this is so freaking bizarre. If you were going to do this to him and you were going to go put him out on the swing sets like a doll, why would he? What is like the stepfather's clothes? Like, I don't know why I can't wrap my head around that. I just don't understand why I can't, or why he had to take off his clothes to put the stepfather's big clothes on. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the underwear.
Yeah.
Why can't I wrap my head around that? Yeah, Leonard, but I mean, you're going to go out there and drag the chair and I mean, I guess his feet wouldn't be dirty if he dragged the chair on the grass to the underneath it and stood on the chair. He wouldn't have sand on his feet. Something's not right. At the end of the day, if he did it or he didn't do it, why was the belt with the hand and the bags and barely hanging with the feet touching the ground? What the hell? You think the stepfather did it? But if the stepfather did do it and they're ruling it as a suicide, why wouldn't you just let it go? Do you get what I'm saying? I know that sounds horrible, but I'm just saying. If you knew the stepfather did it,
yeah,
and you're trying to make it, why is the mom still talking that her son was murdered?
I've got the address of where it happened.
You can show those in a second, but Kaz, do you guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say the father was essaying this poor child and he murdered the kid, and then he put the kid outside to make it look like it was staged, or whoever did. Why are we putting the kid in the father's clothes?
Yeah, that's weird. That's highly weird.
We're going to go have a look in a minute, seashells. Kaz got it. This has got like 2 minutes left on 1.5. This is crazy.
Sent her a text that stated, quote, time to move on. To our knowledge, that statement was never made. We have done some research and have not been able to locate a text message telling the family to move on. The only text similar to this was a text between the investigator and the mother, where the mother states to the investigator, quote, it is time to heal. Several theories were presented to the sheriff's office investigators by the family. The first theory provided to the family about what happened that day stated that they believed that this was a burglary, and during the burglary, their 12-year-old was sexually assaulted and murdered. However, sheriff's office
in a 30-minute process. What? No.
Office investigators found no evidence of an intruder, and laboratory and medical evaluations of forensic evidence sent to the laboratory found no signs of sexual assault. The second theory presented by the family was that this was carried out as a military-type operation directed at them, the family, due to their rank in the United States Air Force.
What?
And finally, they identified 3 different people based solely on speculation that they frequented the neighborhood. All 3 of these people were located, and sheriff's office investigators eliminated them as persons of interest in this incident.
Kaz, am I dreaming or is this real life right now? I mean, you can't.
I'm not going.
Okay, why would the cop lie about this? I mean, this is a 12-year-old boy. Do you think like this guy is like got some big ring going to where, oh, we got to cover this up? Oh, it makes no sense on either side.
But this reminds me of a case that I read about a year ago, where this young 25-year-old girl from New York, the coroner deemed it a suicide, but there was 27 stab wounds to her body, 5 of which were in her back and 1 entered her skull from the back of her head, but it was in a straight downward motion. It is physically impossible to stab yourself in the skull in a straight downward motion with either hand, but the coroner deemed it to be a suicide. How? How can one stab yourself 27 times, still be lucid and coherent enough to stab yourself in the head?
I mean, this is like, what did this little kid do? Honestly, you can't. That's ridiculous. What did he do? What did he do? Tie himself up, put the bag over his head, then do like a jump? He jumped out there, leapfrog to the pulling the chair. Like, you cannot make this up. Replay said she knows that case, Kaz. Yeah. Oh, look at that little chihuahua's face. Oh, look how cute that little face is.
Aww. Yeah, so Reese, you know what I'm talking about. So it's physically impossible to do it. But, you know.
This is nuts. Let's listen to the last 40 seconds of this and then we can chat. I would like to find that. I'm going to look for that interview, Kaz. You couldn't find it either with the mom and the stepdad at the picnic table at that park and the dad is talking? Because now I want to dissect it.
We did not address every inconsistency or fabrication from the social media site. We conducted.
It might be on that podcast blog page.
The thorough, professional, and exhaustive investigation. There is nothing whatsoever to indicate that there is a killer in our community. As I stated at the beginning of this video, it is our policy not to discuss these issues in public, particularly when they involve children. However, the social media site has caused great concern within our community. We still extend an invitation to the family to meet with members of this agency and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner to discuss the results of the autopsy and our investigation.
Hey, Jacqueline. Hey, Reese. You know what? I'm more confused after listening to him and the mother. Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, something is just so not adding up. Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, Jacqueline, but like that's a 12-year-old little boy that's supposedly like hanging from a swing set in his backyard after getting ready to eat a snack and play video games. Like, it's so bizarre. When is the last time the mother even came forth and tried to do anything? Is she like, hey, oh, look there's Jess. Oh, they're pulling out at 9 p.m., Cassie. You lied to me earlier.
Oh, Jess, you're going to get me into trouble, woman. I thought you'd left already.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Dang it.
Can you find that, or you can't find that article either, Kaz? I really want to watch that. You guys know which one I'm talking about? The father, stepfather, and the mom at the picnic table, and they're doing an interview talking about that day. I want to watch the stepfather now because I haven't watched it since I know this information. Oh, she's covering for you, Kaz.
Thank you, Jess. See, nah. I didn't think I was going crackers.
Let's check out this page real quick. Well, they have a change.org going on for this.
They do.
You know, maybe we should share this. Yeah, I'm going to share this. So they have a petition to what happened to Sean. Let me put this in chat. I'm going to have to sign it. Oh, this is a big link, guys, but this is the petition. My brother. Oh, so here's Marie. 1 month ago, my brother deserves justice. Stacey Graham. If what I'm reading is all true, I'm sick to my stomach that it wasn't investigated further. Huh. I mean, do you think? And then Grandma's got to be covering, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And then Sandy Merrill saying that Sean's mother held his hand at the hospital and there was not plastic bags on them. She kissed his hands. So, like, what? I mean, somebody's lying about something, or somebody's fabricating. Let's just say fabricating. Kaz, tell me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, there's so much confliction now. That's the problem. I mean, it's ludicrous. Who's lying? Who's covering up?
But like, why would the cop lie about like the crime scene about a 12-year-old boy?
And the only thing I can think of, the only reason they would tell a lie is because of, they don't want to show that they're incompetent.
I can't find I put his name in YouTube. I can't find just the parents' interview from the news. I don't want to play someone's channel. But it's just them sitting at that picnic table. I know who played it, and I went back to see if I could see what news station it was, and I couldn't see. But I don't know where to get the. I just wanted like the Facebook or the news one. Are they reopening that case with the stab wounds? That's crazy.
Well, they're fighting for it.
Where was that at, Kaz?
In New York somewhere, wasn't it? I can't remember exactly where it was, but the parents are really, really fighting to get the suicide overturned. They are reopening.
I think it's on Fox. I think Fox had it. Fox Today, maybe. In Virginia. I can't find it. I don't know why I cannot find that interview. Hey, Tom Tom. Exactly. Leonard says the officer had the receipts to back up what he was saying, proving that the mom was lying. We got to ask ourselves, why is mom lying?
Yeah.
Humming. Look at its hummingbird.
Oh, sweetheart.
Ghost
How
of
are you?
hummingbird. Right? That it's just nuts. But then, like, why would the mom say the yard's wet, the blood, the this, the that, the mom, the
Yeah.
calls, the alarms, the bags, the shoes, pushing that it's a suicide if you're trying to cover for someone? Like, it's so weird.
I mean, I might try looking up their real names because, of course, they're not called Daugherty. They're called Rivas. It's
You want to
Ramona
show?
and Jared
You want to show
Rivas.
the house?
Yep.
Let's see what the house looks like. See where this furniture came from. Hummingbird. Alan Greenberg. What is that budget? So weird. Definitely a nice neighborhood.
Okay, so this is a house here. Turn around. This is the house.
Kat,
Now,
do they have that house up for like on one of like the Zillow or something so we can
yeah,
get inside of it?
I've actually gone on to they sold it. Hang on, let me just go back to the screen. They sold it in April.
The same time that he hung himself in the playground?
20th of April, 2022.
6 days after he killed him. Supposedly he's committed suicide.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It says, it last sold on April 20th, 2022. I'm just trying to find some.
I mean, I'm not like a genius, but this is like so the house is sold and they're moving to the Pentagon, well, which is
Yeah.
Washington D.C., which I hope that's what they're talking about.
I'm
But
just
this
trying
right
to, I'm
here, this
going
part
to
cannot
Zillow.
be far from Washington D.C.
I'll see if I can get any pictures of Zillow because there was none of that one. Oh, here we go.
What the hell is going on, people?
I'll just check this one. We've actually got pictures on this one.
I mean, if the sheriffs didn't believe that, why would you lie and make that up? Like, I don't know why what they would be covering for.
Yeah, 20th of the 4th, 2020. All right, that's the front of the house.
Big house. Oh, that's nice. Oh, 42 pictures. That's a beautiful house. The outside, not my style. Oh, that's a beautiful kitchen. Yeah, that's a nice house.
Some laundry. Entry off the kitchen.
Go back, Kaz. Go back 1 second to where that deck was out back. 1 second. I want to just see.
I haven't been to the back yet.
I know, but I want to see something.
That one there. Oh, yeah, there's the chairs.
Yeah, look at how big that window is. And I wonder, and all those windows in the front too. And the neighbor is right there. Like, it's not like you cannot
Oh, they are
see.
so close, darling. They are so
Shit.
close.
That's all I wanted to see. That picture right there. Okay.
Yeah, there's the chairs. So it is a 2-story home, so it is raised up. So he would have had to carry the chair off that back deck, down the stairs to the back swing set. Bedroom, bathroom, dining room, formal dining room. Pretty gothic.
Beautiful floors. Not I like the wood ones upstairs. Oh, those are nice. It's a beautiful house. It's big.
It's 5 bedrooms.
So this must be which one? So I wonder if this was their furniture when they sold it actually in April.
Yeah, because it's got the R over the doorway, which is for the Revis, because that's the name.
Well, aren't you? With your little eyeballs going all over the place. Huh.
It's 5, that's the master. 5 beds, 3 baths, 2,902 square feet.
And how much did it sell for?
590,000.
Shit.
Estimated value now is 685,000. There you go.
Okay. So look at how far, guys, the playground is from this deck, and there's the chair. So we're gonna drag it out with a belt.
And remember, guys, this is the chair here, not this one. It's this big one.
Yeah. That playground's, and so if you look at back to the right of that playground, there's a house there and there's a house right to the left of it. Come on, who doesn't? What the hell is going on with this case?
Yeah, that's a shed.
Oh,
yeah.
A shed.
That's a shed. But there's a house there, and there's a house just over off screen here on the right hand side.
Be safe, Jess.
And drive safe,
Let
sweetheart.
Kaz know when you get there safe. She'll let me know.
Send me an email and let me know, please.
Like, yeah, really. Like, what? That's a long way to drag that big chair with his feet. But remember, the feet were just off the ground. I mean, he's a kid. Why drag a chair? Why not just climb on the play swing and just, if that's what you're going to do, why take the work of dragging a chair out? I think the chair was staged. There might be some more of the backyard. I think you got a couple.
Yeah, I'll just see if I could get any.
Well, one more. Oh.
That's the shed.
Is this the 3-foot fence that she was talking about?
Yes.
Ah. The side
so
that
you can see at the back there, it is barren. So these were taken as they were selling the house. So at the back of the house, it is barren. If you compare that, so that's up the back here on this side. That's that shed there. So if we go back to this photo, that's that shed on the left-hand side. So go back
they got a lot of rocks,
so
gravel.
That's that one.
In front of that little shed, yep. But the playground's got grass, and then it's got sand underneath those swings.
So that's the top. That is the top of the swing set there. With the chain.
And that little fence.
Yeah.
But if you look at the picture from the sheriff's office, it's it's all grass where the playground is. And if you look off
Now,
the back deck,
it
it
would
looks
be
like it's in grass,
it
except
would
for
be interest
underneath the swings.
it would be interesting to see the color enhancement on that photograph, though, because I can take that photo and enhance that grass to be greener than it is. If I copied this image, and I'm going to,
But you can also see too that it's fall at this time that the picture was taken because there's no
yeah,
leaves on the trees. So it's around winter fall. I don't know when it was taken, but you can tell that it's definitely fall or winter
mm,
because the trees are bald. And there's no leaves in the yard, so I'm thinking it's probably into the winter months unless they
mm.
have somebody that's going to clean all those leaves out of their yard.
But Ma, that is a big chair, sweater.
Oh, that's a
That
big ass chair. There's no way that kid carried that chair and drug it all the way out there to the damn playground. And no one saw, yeah, we saw Sean dragging the chair out to the playground today. How do you, I mean, it's in the middle of the day. The kids are coming home from school. What the hell? It's more than insane, seashells. Stepdaddy knows why. Does anyone know where that video was that you can maybe email us real quick?
let
Kaz,
me
you
have
can't
a look.
find it? I've been looking.
Oh, come here.
It might be on Twitter, but this poor kid.
Ramona and Jared Rivas.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I think I might have found part of it. When Kaz is done, I'll show you. I found part of the mom and dad at the playground or
Oh,
the campground or the picnic table.
I
I don't
found a
know where.
GoFundMe.
A, wait, who has a GoFundMe? What? They just sold that
Uh,
house for 500,000. Why would you have a GoFundMe?
it says fundraising for Ramona and Rivas. I can't open GoFundMe's for America and Australia. Don't know why, but I can't. But it says fundraiser for Ramona Rivas by Michelle Stutzman. Hello, my
What?
name is Michelle, and I am a neighbour of Jared and Ramona Rivas. I have been coordinating a meal train in our neighbourhood, and you'll have to have a look at this because I can't open it. Copy link address. I'll pop it into private chat. You might have to
Wait,
open
wait,
it.
wait. So, you got to be kidding me.
You'll have to have a look at that one, sweater, because I cannot.
All right,
I
you want to show us?
cannot.
You want to show us the last picture, or was that the rock pile?
Who, what, where, and when? Sorry.
Picture 42, or was that the rock pile?
Picture 42 is
Hell?
that, which I'll
Yeah,
just,
okay, what I thought. Yeah, that's weird because there's definitely, if that's the top of the swing set, it looks like there's more grass in the sheriff picture. But
yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
yeah, because that grass is dead, and
Yeah, it's
there's,
winter.
yeah, it's definitely winter.
It's crispy.
Crispy.
I know all about grasses
But
like that.
I'll just, that neighbour that's just where that shed is situated, where that fence, that neighbour's is extremely close. They've got full view by 1, 2, 3, 4 windows, direct view to that playset. Direct. So
So they
how the
were
heck?
raising $5,000 and they've raised 5,110.
So what were they raising it for?
So he's got two brothers, Ethan and Hunter. Which one was the 2-year-old that was found supposedly underneath the clothes? And where was the other kid? We know
Well, one.
Vigilant Studente is the mother of his mother.
Oh, okay.
Because you can just tell by her last name. It sounds like it's where the mother's from.
Latvian.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Sylvia Black and his grandfathers, Ray Rivas and Alvin Shannon. Sean was also loved and will be missed by many aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. 6th grader at Tab Middle School. So the loving parents are Jared and Ramona Rivas. Timothy and Vivi Daugherty have got to be.
That must be Ramona's ex-husband's.
That's what I'm thinking. This must be the biological father's last name, Daugherty.
Yes.
His sister Maria and his brothers Ethan and Hunter, grandmothers Vija Studente, and I'm thinking that's her mother, and then Gail must be Jared's Rivas's mother. So Timothy and Vivi Daugherty are the biological grandparents on the father's side.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, one more thing, Kaz, and we're done. Let's just watch this interview. I don't even know what's here, but let's just see if this can give us a little light onto what I'm talking about. Hopefully.
There's got to be more answers out there.
Sitting in a park not far from what used to be their Yorktown home, Ramona and Jared Rivas remember their 12-year-old son, Sean Daugherty. Sean was in the 6th grade, loved his family, swimming, playing video games.
He loved to read, and he could read. He could read a lot faster than I can, which I found amazing. So he was just an amazing person, and he was great in school, and the teachers loved him.
On April 14th, Sean was found in his backyard, hanging from a swing set. According to the autopsy report, he was suspended from a shoelace-type string, with a bag over his head and his arms secured by his sides with a belt. He was found wearing his stepfather's clothes, shoeless, with no glasses on. His stepfather and mother say how he was found is just the first of many questions.
He was watching his 2-year-old brother. He loved him so much he would never leave him. He was reading his book. He just checked out from library that day. He did his homework and submitted for the next day. He took out a snack that he never ate. He started to take out garbage that he never finished.
We counted about 17 things like that were odd for Sean. So all those things had to be done by Sean on that one day in a 50-minute time frame for him to kill himself.
Those questions haunting the Rivas family.
We lost our son, and we have these hundreds and hundreds of unanswered questions that should have already been answered by now.
In one of the documents News 3 obtained, the ER doctor wrote, quote, history of suicidal ideations. However, in the autopsy report, the medical examiner wrote, quote, no known history of depression or suicidality.
Explain that, Kaz. What the hell is going on?
Okay, I want to know how a ER doctor would have any notion that a child that's been brought in unconscious had suicidal tendencies. That's impossible to know without speaking to them. Impossible.
And my mouth is just hanging open right now. Like, I cannot wrap my head around any of this. Like, this is like, my gosh. I mean, I don't even know what to think. I don't think he killed himself. But I think if somebody did it to him, that maybe like the boys that were coming over to play the games, why would the 2-year-old, or did the 2-year-old even say that he saw somebody punching? How do we know he said that? Because the mother said that? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
Another section reads, no note was found, but does say police are investigating the possibility of bullying at school. The Rivas family says there was one instance in December of 2021. They say still, Sean was not struggling mentally. That same report came to this conclusion, the cause and manner of death, hanging by suicide.
We want to be the voice of Sean, right? That's more important than us being listened to, is Sean being listened to. Because if he was sitting here, he would tell you the same thing. I didn't do this. I loved life.
The Rivas family has created a social media campaign that's quickly growing in the community. These yard signs reading "What happened to Sean" are popping up all over the peninsula.
A little Urkel.
We believe someone saw something. There was a a crew next door mowing grass in the backyard when this happened, during the same time it happened.
Sean's parents say all they want are answers and for another agency to re-examine the case.
No seashells. He was going to play online with his friends Fortnite, the video game. I don't think friends were coming to his house to play games, right, Kaz?
Yeah, correct.
This was strictly, yeah. He was able, the dad just basically said it. He had 50 minutes to get everything done so that he could play Fortnite with his friends online. But don't you think between like everything, like the garbage and the peach, and don't you think it was like too much at one time? Like it was like staged to make it look like he was doing all that? Doesn't it seem like too much for a 12-year-old? I couldn't get the boy to
See,
do stuff like that
you
fast.
see,
He would be playing on the Xbox already. I'd be like, get off the Xbox first. 4:30 in the morning, I would catch him playing Xbox.
see that with me, it doesn't seem unusual because I lived that through my childhood. So having a tight time frame to get stuff done before my parents got home is not something unusual for me.
Raul
So
says, right, but still, but like if you have 15 minutes to get your homework, so we know, but we know at 3:09 he snapshotted a picture supposedly to his teacher that his homework was done. And then next thing you know, it's like the mother makes all those 3 phone calls and knows exactly what he was doing in the iPad, and we're gonna bring your brother upstairs. We don't want to interfere with your Fortnite time, but we got the peach in the bowl, we got the garbage not taken out, the shoes are flipped over, and then he's in his father. So when was he debating whether he's going to put the dad's clothes on? What in the f is
yeah,
going
yeah,
What the fuck going on? Exactly, Reeves Place. But he was, I think he was raised. I think his mother was a. She ran a tight ship.
yeah.
I definitely think the mother has put in a little too much information on certain things, and I think she ran a tight ship. But if something accidentally happened to him and they're ruling it a suicide, why would you continue to fight?
We want to make sure that whoever did this to Sean is not going to do this to someone else.
In York County, Ellen Ice, News 3.
Within the hour, the York Pocosin Sheriff's Office posted a video on its Facebook page addressing the family.
We know about that video. I'm confused. Linda Lou, I don't think he did either. But you have to think about it. The father was 30 minutes away. The mother was on she said 30 minutes, Kaz, on that video. She was going to be gone for 30 minutes. How did all of that go down in 30 minutes when he had a timer of 50 minutes to get what is
Yeah, but she was gone longer than that. Even in this post on Facebook, it states quite plainly she was gone longer than that.
I wonder if we can get the surveillance footage of where she went to get the mom's um, EKG done. Then the neighbor had cameras, but they weren't working. I mean, it's just a mess. But you have to ask yourself if it so let's just say that a kid bullied him and the kid came over there and knew exactly what was going to go on that day. The sister was going to how would you know the kid was going to be at tennis practice? I mean, this is not I mean, you would have to know their schedule. This is a small period of time. I mean, and what it just happened to work the first time he tried it? I don't think so. They said that it wasn't even tight. It was hanging from his chin. How can the police rule it a suicide, Kaz?
I don't. Well, it just like I said before, it keeps bringing me back to the case from New York where the poor, girl was deemed a suicide, and there was no possible way in hell it was a suicide, but the coroner said it was, as did the police, and they closed the case. And now, it's being reopened, so it's crazy.
Yeah, we're only talking about the stepfather. I don't know. I guess I just called him the dad, but we don't know who the biological father is. But now we're going to know because obviously the little boy carries the biological father's last name. And that's got to be Maria's father
Ah,
too, right,
okay.
Kaz? These
Yeah.
are admirals in the Air Force. They probably run a tight ship.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. You know that where that stringer kept talking about that was around Sean's? They've actually got the post on their Facebook page where it says, we refer to this string as a shoelace type string because that is what the autopsy described it as. It is similar in size. It was from a motorcycle bag, and that bag was also on his head. The string,
Yeah.
of course, had his DNA on it. It was
Yep.
on his body.
Yep.
That's what so the whole helmet bag was on his head, as were the strings that were attached to it. So I was thinking maybe it was a loose string that had been knotted. No, this was the entire helmet bag that was on his head.
TJ, the last one that would have seen him alive if the mother's story is honestly correct would have been the grandmother.
Yes.
Vija. Vija that he came home from school, he got off the bus 2 houses away, 2 yards away. He walked in the door, the grandma was walking out, and the mom pulled up in the SUV when the kid was already in the house. The grandma didn't even say she said bye to him. She just left. Then the mother yelled out that she would call from the car. And she called, what, 3 times in an appointment that was supposed to be 30 minutes? So it was grandma that saw him last, if you go with the mother's story.
Yeah, and also TJ, yes,
Grandma. I mean, it was TJ. They were saying that from the time he got off the bus and walked into that house, the grandmother was leaving to go into the driveway. The mother was pulling up. She was going to an EKG. The mother called the kid, Sean, and said, I have to run grandma to an appointment. We'll be gone 30 minutes or whatever. And you have to take care of the 2-year-old. Now, I don't know where the other kid was, but there's 2 little brothers, but only one was at the house.
Yeah, and the other.
Oh, that's right.
Was with the stepfather.
Was with the stepfather for 30 minutes away.
Yeah. TJ, yes, Maria is his.
But why was it like why would you have that kid? How old is that kid? What kind of an event is that kid at?
Well, I'd have to look up. They did name what the event was, but I haven't looked it up.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Linda Lou, was there any evidence of his stepdad had taken one of the children to the pediatrician, like signing in the doctor's office? Was that where they went? No, Cav, I don't.
No,
An AT something event?
Yeah, it was
The
an
baby
actual
was
event.
asleep.
Hunter too. It was Hunter he took.
How did the baby go from asleep from supposedly being found in under laundry pile, and then like what kid do you ever know that like I don't know any of mine. What kid I don't know anyone, any kid that is going to take out a snack first and then go about doing the garbage. That just doesn't make any sense to me. That's weird to me too. It's like the peach in the bowl to me was staged like the John Bonet pineapple thing. Like, it's just weird. Like, what? One peach in a bowl. I seen a picture of it. It is one peach in a perfect white bowl. And it's just sitting at the bottom, Kaz. A little jarred wet peach. Have you seen the picture of it?
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Stop scratching that couch, you little monster. Who are you talking to? Hang on, here comes the cat. He's speaking Hebrew. I don't understand you. No, sorry, kitty. He's trying to tell me what's going on with the peach in the bowl, but I don't get it. I'm as confused as him talking to me. Yeah, that is odd. And then the shoes being so I wear Crocs and my Crocs fit me pretty good. And I don't know if the kid wears the Croc backs up or the kid wears the Croc backs down. Hummingbird, stop. I wear the Crocs up in the front of the shoe. I actually had a pair of Crocs, but I can't find the other one to save my life. But now if I have socks on and my Crocs on and somebody picked me up like even out of to put me over their shoulders and bring me out the back door and like kidnap me, I don't think my Crocs would fall off unless it was like really violent. So that to me is telling me too. And I don't know, do you guys have any little boys that age that wear Crocs? Do they wear the fronts up or down? I don't know if he wears the fronts up and down. I would like to see a picture of the Crocs to see if that back part is up or if that back part is down. And anyone that wears Crocs knows what I'm talking about. Because you have to physically move that strap from going up to going down. Hey Heffa, he had milk last night. Look, you got the heifer sticking up for you. She said, "I give you milk. You want milk? Yeah? You gonna get a job? No? Okay. You get a job and I'll give you some milk." Yeah, I'm confused. That just nothing makes sense. Why are they collecting $5 in a? Okay, Ree, your son wears them. Are your son's back straps up or are they down? Pick up your kid wearing the Crocs. If the straps are around the back of the ankle, those Crocs are not coming off. So that's weird too. I would like to see a picture of the Crocs. Yep, on the front so he can just slip them on. That's how mine are. My straps are up. Well, the one that I have left is up. I think a wild animal took my Croc.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. So do they fit him good, Ree? Or can he wear socks with them too? Like my Crocs don't come off when I'm wearing socks. And yeah, I wear socks and Crocs and go out. I know. No more mice, Hummingbird, thank God. He brought a bird home the other day.
Oh crap.
Yeah? Tell him about it. Tell him about the bird you brought home? No? Nothing to talk about? He speaks Hebrew, guys. He wears socks with my tall socks. He's just sitting here having a conversation with you guys. Guys, I can't help it. He's very. Kaz will tell you he talks a lot, this cat, Hummingbird, too.
Oh, he does.
Maybe we'll share the video where he eats spaghetti like a dog. Hummingbird has it. I think that's it, though, guys. I'm going to see what goes on, but this is so bizarre. Kaz, I think you should call the sheriff's department and say, what the hell is going on with this case? My cat murders something every night. I don't have my beanie on, Hummingbird. Not yet. It's not cold yet. Cold enough yet. Gotta wait for the snow until the beanies go on. Yeah, the baby was asleep on the couch. The dad said he took the other kid to a doctor appointment. Kaz, can you read that little part real quick where the dad was? I'm just curious what that is.
All right, I'll have to go back to it. Hang on.
H-Bird's talking about you, kitty. Kitty. Nothing else to say? No. That's it. He wants me to rub his ears.
Aww.
He's like, just rub my ears, please. I said enough. Ree's place, yeah, I don't know. I don't even see the mom really talk in one interview. Like, what is going on? This is weird. I'm just curious where they were, and then we're going to wrap it up. 2 hours. My God.
Okay. Ramona's husband was in Williamsburg with their middle son at ABA services.
What was the name of the city?
Williamsburg.
AB what?
ABA. ABBA, but with only one B.
Services in Williams what?
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg. VA. Let's see what this is. Therapy? Yeah, it's therapy. Oh, so the boy, let me share this. So he might be autistic.
Oh, it's autistic. Bang. There you go.
So the ABA therapy is therapy for autism.
Mm-hmm. That's Hunter.
Creates customized autism treatment plans designed around each individual. Okay.
Well, then that
So,
rules out the husband because you have to sign in and sign out of those places. So,
huh. Oh, there's definitely cameras there too.
yeah.
I would like to see that camera footage and the footage of where mom went and got the EKG.
Yeah.
My rooster is good, Hummingbird. I was talking about him the other night, that little bat. Man, every day I was attacked by a damn rooster. Be running in the snow, slipping, falling, carrying a broom. Too bad I can't fly on a broom. All right, guys, that's it. I'm beat.
You're beat. My legs are dead. I have no feeling in my legs at all. Zero.
I think you should call 999, Kaz. Is that the 999 and get a
No,
cute
that's the UK number.
and get
000 here in Australia.
And then what about the thing that the girl found in the suitcase with the 5 men?
Oh,
That,
I haven't even gone into that, sweetheart.
yeah, we haven't. We're just letting you know we haven't forgotten about digging into that case, but we haven't had time. I think it was a snuff film. All right, guys, keep your baby safe and stay vigilant.
Yeah. I'll
Kaz,
catch you on
thank
the flip
you.
side. Thank you, darling, once again. Thank you to the mods. Lovely to see you, Hummingbird. Miss you heaps.
Yeah, we miss you, H Bird. Yeah, thank you all for coming in, McRib.
God.
Right? I mean, we can't take her anywhere.
I know.
She's gone forever. She pops back in, and she's her bratty little self.
Good on her.
Right? She's lucky. I love her. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys. Don't forget
Bye.
to hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already.
The like
Love
button
ya.
on the way out. Love ya. Bye.